Hi, Dr. Theo here. Today's workout is a front squat EMOM 15. Now what that means is that we're going to do 15 rounds of 3 front squats. Now, time-wise, we're going to do that every 45 seconds. So we've got lots of time to do those 3 front squats every time for a full 15 rounds. Now, if we're not using weight, then today we're going to be using the broomstick. Starting position for that broomstick, feet shoulder width apart, grab onto your broomstick like you would onto the handlebars of a bicycle. Bring that up into our front rack position, nice tall elbows, and then we start our squat. All the way down and all the way up. Now, if that depth is not appropriate for you, have a chair or a bench or a stool and use that as your backstop as you go up and down. So using that backstop, in the starting position, we go down, reach that point for your chair or your stool, and then come back up. Now, if you are ready to use a weight, you might have a kettlebell, you might have a hand weight, you might have something else that you hold. Essentially, you want to hold that up onto your chest. So with a kettlebell, put your thumbs through the loops, bring it up onto your chest, and then we can do our front squat. All the way down and all the way up. If you have a hand weight like a dumbbell, you can always hold it on your chest and squat down like this. Or you can bring it sideways and squat down like this. Okay, so just to recount, we're going to do 15 sets of 3 front squats every 45 seconds. The idea with an EMOM is that we're practicing the movement and making sure that we move well every time. Okay, let's get started. Front rack position and down. Okay, and rest. Now when we're doing a front squat, starting on the ground, it's important to think about that position for our feet. We don't want our feet too wide, otherwise we're going to start to hurt our hips. Likewise, too narrow, and we're potentially going to lose our balance as we come up and down. So shoulder width is generally a good guide, but a little bit either side of that, you'll find where your sweet spot is. All right, next round. Start. And one more. Good. Now, as I said, an EMOM is all about technique. We want to learn how to move well and make sure we move well every single time. That way, no matter what the demands are, we're going to do it well and we're going to do it safely. Really, this is all about looking after our bodies and making sure we don't hurt ourselves. All right, let's get ready for the next round. That's 2. That's 3. Okay. Think about the weight that you have on your feet as you're going up and down in the front squat. We want to stay centered through our heels the whole time. If you feel that you're leaning forwards, getting onto your toes, think about staying taller in that movement. I want you to stay balanced as you go all the way up and down in the squat. Start. And go. and rest. Okay. Next thing to think about is our knee position. You want your knee traveling directly over your feet as you move up and down. Try and avoid rolling the knees in and try and avoid rolling too far out. So this next three, let's really focus on a good knee path directly over each of our feet.
Start.
All right, let's think about those knees. Straight out, over the feet, all the way through the movement. Good, well done. Depth is another really important topic. So you can see that I'm going full depth to what's called below parallel. That means as I squat, the crease of my hips gets below the crease of my knees, and that's considered below parallel. However, that's not going to be appropriate for everybody.
Start.
And go. And 2, and 3. Good. Now, why is it, you might ask, the depth is so important? The depth plays a part in not only our range of motion, the muscles that we're triggering, but also what kind of pressure we put on our knees as well. Squatting to a half depth like that actually hurts the knees more than going all the way down to a full squat.
Start.
Let's go. And 3. Good. So that's why it's important. If you're not able or comfortable to do that full depth squat, use a backstop. That way you're going to release that pressure from your knees rather than coming down here, hanging out in a dangerous position, and then trying to rise again. So the next set, I'll actually use the bench just so that we're seeing that backstop in use.
Start.
And up, and let's go down. So hit that backstop, knees are released, much safer to get back up. And like I said, you can vary this height depending on what you need. Good, and rest. Why do I pay so much attention to squatting movements? Squatting movements are crucial to our everyday life. If you want to get up off of a chair, if you want to get up off the toilet, you need to be able to squat. You need to be able to stand up. It's one of our core movements and an essential part of living independently. So that's why at FitMed, I pay so much attention.
Start.
And go. Good, and rest. So the muscles you're working here are what we call our posterior kinetic chain. You're working on lower back, gluteals, and the hamstrings. These are your strongest muscles. They will power much more effectively than any of those muscles that you might use on your front half. So really focus as you stand up using that posterior chain.
Start.
And down. Squeeze those buttock muscles as you stand up. And down, squeezing up, and down again. Squeezing up. Good. All right, rest. So we've got 5 sets to go. All right, 10 seconds.
Start.
Let's go. And down. Good, and rest. So body position and body awareness of our position is really important. So I want you to think about being as tall and as upright as you can as you make that squat. So rather than leaning forwards as you come down or arching backwards, try and maintain that nice upright posture on these next three.
Start.
Nice and tall. Just keep that natural curve in your back all the way through the range of motion. Good. And one more. Excellent. Now, you'll see when I do this movement, I try and keep my elbows as in front and as high as I can. That's not easy. Range of motion demands a lot. Your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists all need to be flexible in order to achieve that. Why do I want it? Because range of motion is better, and plus when you add weight, it becomes more important.
Start.
So nice tall elbows. Try and keep them pointing up all the way through your squat. Good, and rest. So if our elbows are low, that's okay when you're using the broomstick. There's no weight to drag you down. But if you're up here and you've got a weight and your elbows start to drop, as you come down, that's what's going to happen. It's going to pull you forward. So keep those elbows and those hands as high as you can, as much as you can through the movement. All right, 2 rounds to go.
Start.
Let's do 2. And 1 more. Good. All right. Done 14 rounds. That means we're on to our last round. So let's bring everything together that we thought about and put that into a really good last set of 3, moving as well as you possibly can for the last round. All right, 10 seconds. So starting position, height, elbows, balance. Let's go.
Start.
And go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Fantastic. You've now done the EMOM 15 for front squats. Well done. Hopefully next time you'll see even more improvement through FitMed Pulse. Congratulations.